Hello, my people. It's my hope that you are well and you had a good day. Welcome aboard to Finance Focus with Andrew, a platform where we engage in financial conversation that aimed at enhancing our financial literacy. So, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, so that we can be able to learn together. And today I'm very excited because we have a very exciting topic. Uh, I get excited by things that have to do with matters love and finances at the same time. Maybe simply because things to do with finances are things that require critical thinking. You need to use your brain, and things to do with love are things that needs to do with your heart. So I feel that these are two contradicting issues when it comes to matters love and finances. But it's unfortunate that the two need to agree at some point, or either agree or they have to cross. Allow me to use the word cross each other at some time. And today I just have a very interesting dilemma that I would also like to hear your point of view. I know it is one of the dilemmas that many young men in our country are going through. It's just that maybe they don't have the opportunity to talk about it, but maybe it is something they are going through. And one of the things that we need to agree at this very point is that when it gets to some age, matters love, matters dating, it's really a financial decision. You need to consider the financial aspect of it whenever you think about dating, whenever you think about marriage, whether you like it or not. It is something that will, in one way or the other, affect your finances. Now, let's go direct to the point. And the dilemma that is with us today, it is a story on the Saturday Nation dated 31st May 2025. And a young man is seeking for some advice. And the title reads in capital letters, "My girlfriend is demanding that I marry her, yet I have only 18,000 savings. How do I afford a marriage?" So that is the dilemma that we have with us today. So this guy has managed to save some 18,000, and it's unfortunate that his girlfriend is asking for a marriage. You want this young man to marry her, but one thing that this man is not sure is whether that he will be able to afford a marriage, given the fact that he has only 18,000 as savings as this girl gets to demand for marriage. So, do this guy get to marry this girl, or what is the best decision to make at this point? So, that is the dilemma that we have in this episode, and that is why I have titled the live session "Broke but Forced to Marry." So, broke but forced to marry. So, what is the best decision to take at this point? Uh, do this guy just go ahead and marry this girl for the sake of love? Unajua, maybe if he don't marry the girl, the relationship come to an end. So, but can he be able to afford marriage financially? Is he prepared financially to afford a marriage? Help me understand the best decision that this guy can take at this point. But before then, we can be able to check on the financial status that this guy has explained, and see, other than the 18,000 that he says to have in his savings, what other money does he have? Maybe he is earning a good salary that will allow him to comfortably afford a marriage, or the 18,000 is all that he relies on when it comes to the marriage matter. As far as the marriage is concerned, maybe the 18,000 is all that he got. Now, let's get to read the financial status that he has given here, and from there we will be able to decide whether it is a good decision or not a good decision. The guy says, I'm 29. We can all tell that he feels that he is right to feel that he is also in the right age of marriage. My net salary is around 30,000. On top of this, I earn commissions depending on the targets my boss has set for us. The highest commission I have ever earned per month is 10,000. On average, I strive to earn at least 5,000 commission, which takes my monthly salary income to around 35,000. So one thing is clear, this guy is earning a total of 35,000 per month. Let's see how he gets to spend the 35,000 that he earns per month. My expenses are as follows: rent 8,000, food. He clearly states that I don't cook at home, so he ends up spending 300 per day per food, 300 per day on food. So water and power 2,000, mom Kenya shillings 4,000, transport 3,000. This sometimes lower when I get dropped or picked up by the company vehicle. So girlfriend, now the one who is demanding to get married, he is given an allowance of 5,000 per month. I bet regularly on SportPesa. Another interesting thing in this budget. I bet regularly on SportPesa and on radio gambling games. I don't place huge amount, and my sports winning are usually under 10,000. I have, however, not won anything on radio yet. That's how I get cash to buy my current. That's how I got cash to buy my current sofa set. So at least this guy has something to show out of the gambling operations. He continues to say, I can't seem to progress financially. I have a mobile debt of 8,955. My bank account balance is 18,000. So it's unfortunate that in the year of the Lord 2025, this guy is still placing his savings in a bank account. I thought the money was somewhere in a money market fund or a SACCO where the money is earning interest. But it's unfortunate that this guy is still putting his savings in the bank. Now let's continue and get to listen to these incidents. So my girlfriend is employed as an M-Pesa agent. She lives with her parents and has one child, a boy aged 6. So that is another interesting factor. So when we are talking about the financial status of this guy, now we are not only talking about the girl that he gets to marry. This girl has a kid who is already aged 6 years. So when this guy gets to think about marriage, he has to think about the girl that he is marrying. He has to think about the kid who is probably schooling. So this guy is starting a marriage with 18,000 and will go straight forward to be paying school fees. We get back to the dilemma. My girlfriend is demanding that I marry her, yet I have only 18,000 savings. How do I afford a marriage? And we have just discovered that this girlfriend has a son who is 6 years. Most probably he is schooling. So it means the issue of school fees comes in. The story is getting interesting. Eh? Let's move forward. He's pressuring me to marry her and also feel it is time to start a family. So on one side, the girl is putting pressure on the guy. She really wants to be married. But also on the side of this young man, he feels that he is at the age of marriage. I also agree at 29, everyone has the right to feel that they are in the right age of marriage. But now the big question that we are trying to deal with here, the elephant in the room is this young man prepared financially for marriage? Yes, at 9. The Constitution of Kenya gives you the right to marry. But is this guy prepared financially to marry? So not only the girl pressuring this man, the man on their side also feels that they need to marry. They are getting old. They are at 29. But the question is, are they financially prepared to get married? And we agreed from the start of this conversation that marriage is a financial decision. When making the decision to marry, you cannot ignore the financial aspect of the marriage. But let's move on. Maybe there are some better things we get to engage. Tulikuwa tumefika wapi? Now, the guy says, even if he feels like it is time to start a marriage, I also feel it is, okay, I'm however not sure if I can sustain a family with my current finances. Now, yes, he wants to marry, but he already have the fear that the current financial status he is in cannot be able to sustain a marriage. Now, let's move on. She wants me to move from my bed sitter to at least a one-bedroom self-contained apartment for privacy. Another interesting factor. You see, marriage comes with a lot of expenses. I may not speak from a lot of experience, but we can already tell that if this guy takes the chances and goes ahead to marry, his financial life is going to change, and unfortunate, it will also change on the matters spending. You see, this girl who wants to be married, this guy is currently living in a bed sitter, but even before the marriage, the lady is already pressuring the guy that they need to move to a bigger house for the purpose of privacy. And I understand the girl, because when you are a married couple, you need some privacy. But the question is this young man able to move to a one bedroom? Given his current financial status, we'll soon be able to find out. However, the areas she has suggested cost upward of 12,000 in rent. So a man who is currently spending 8,000 on rent, he is being pressured to move to a place that he will be able to part away with at least 12,000 when it comes to rent per month. So that is a drastic increase. That is a 50% increase as far as the rent parameter is concerned. Let's continue. What additional cost should I expect? I had mentioned that this guy's life is about to change in terms of spending drastically, and I'm happy that he agrees with the fact. He is aware that he will get to incur some other additional cost. It's just that he is not aware of the additional cost, but he is sure that some additional cost will come in. This discussion is getting interesting. Now, he is asking us, what additional cost should I expect? So if you are watching this video and you are married, so what additional costs should this guy expect? What additional costs should a young man who is preparing to get married expect after he gets married? Now, what 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 is he not spending on currently, but he will have to spend on once he gets married or once he moves in with his girlfriend? So he's already aware that there will be some additional cost. It's just that he is not sure what will be the additional cost. But one thing is for sure, one thing that is for sure is that there will be some additional cost. So if you are married, advise this young man hapo kwa comments, what additional cost should this man expect? Should this man expect as he thinks of getting married? Tumwambie tu ukweli, ili anataka kuingia pale akiwa prepared. He really wants to get that to get into marriage very prepared, being fully aware of all the costs that he should expect once he marries. So you can assist to identify some of the costs that this man expects to incur the moment he gets married. I would like to own a home. At least the man has some dreams. I'm happy for this man. Now, I would like to own a home someday. I don't see any hope. My girlfriend says I should try affordable houses, but I don't know how to go about it. It is fortunate that this guy, this girlfriend, is able to offer some advisory services to the man. And fortunately, she has come across our good president, our God-sent president agenda of affordable housing. So at least the girlfriend is aware that there are some affordable houses that has been built by the government. So we can give her a clap for that. She has really tried. At least she is aware that there are some affordable housing that are being done by our good government. And he is telling this young man he should try affordable housing. But this young man does not know know-how of how to get access to the affordable houses. So in case you are there and you are aware of how this man can access the affordable houses, feel free to engage. Let's save this young man. Now, that is the story of this young man. And the final question that he gets to ask after giving that sweet story is, how do I organize my money? How do I organize the 35,000 salary and the 18,000 savings and be able to maintain a family? Assist me, advise the young man. So the ultimate question here is, how do I organize my 35,000 salary and the 18,000 savings that I have and be able to afford a marriage? Now, I always say time and again, you might think that you are the genius in everything until you listen to other person's perspective, and you feel that they are more right than you are. So that is why I want us to listen to the expert advisor, the expert who replied on this particular case, and get to listen and have their part of his thoughts, what he had to say about this young man. Don't forget, this is the story that we are covering. A young man earns 35,000 and he has 18,000 in savings. He wants to marry, so we are trying to assist him decide whether marrying is the best decision, or how will he be able to organize his money to be able to afford the marriage. Now, this is what the expert had to say. You are on the right path towards financial stability. at least the financial expert starts by appreciating that this guy had made some efforts by having some savings of 18,000. You see, it is not easy in the current economy to have some savings, but this guy has tried. Even before we start, even before he decides to marry, he already have some savings of 18,000. Your fixed expenses total around 31,000. This leaves with this leaves you with approximate 4,000 after covering essential services, excluding betting and miscellaneous spending. So the expenses that this guy wrote down were coming to about 31,000, and the earnings were 35,000. So he has some 4,000 that he can save somewhere, because you see, savings in our African society or in our Kenyan setup, we are used to saving what is left after we spend. So we earn, we spend, we save. I don't know whether that is the right idea according to you, that you earn, you spend, you save, or should it be you earn, you save, you spend, or should it be you earn, you spend, and at the same time you save? So this guy is supposed to have some 4,000 after he has paid for all his essentials. Of course, before we subtract the money that he will use for the month in gambling. So careful planning is crucial as you consider major decisions like marriage, family, and home ownership. That is a very strong point. Acha turudie hapo. Careful planning is crucial as you consider major decisions like marriage, family, and home ownership. So careful financial decisions like marriage. You know, marriage is not a one-day thing. You'll not be in marriage today and you are out tomorrow. Marriage is a lifetime. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime thing. So you need to really consider before you make that decision. Acha tuendelee na hii story. Now, don't forget, now we are listening to words from a finance expert. So be very keen. You can be able to take a point or two home from here. Let's move on. The primary reason for the lack of financial progress appears to be the tendency to spend nearly your entire income without allocating funds for savings or investments. The expenditure on gambling is a substantial drain on your finances. And we should mention it at this point that gambling is one of the poor financial habits that can continuously drain you without you realizing. You see, I know some people will be against this and say that they have earned a lot from gambling, but it is said that the house always wins. So sometimes you might think that you are winning, but if you do a combination of the amount you have won and the amount you have lost, at the end, the amount that you have lost will be more than the amount you have gained. So let's move on. The expenditure on gambling is a substantial drain on your finances. Even minor bets can accumulate over time and foster a mindset of gambling as a solution rather than a strategic planning. Additionally, the presence of mobile debt suggests that there are instances where expenditures exceed income, leading to a reliance on credit. The most important point that I have learned in that paragraph is that even minor bets can accumulate over time and foster mindset of gambling. You see, if I come to you and I borrow you 1,000 bob, you might not be willing to give the 1,000 bob to me. But if I come to you today and ask you for a 10 bob, you'll give me willingly, because what is a 10 bob to you? Utanipatia tu. Then tomorrow I come, nisaidie 20 bob. You might give me easily. The other day I come for a 50 bob. Then before you know it, the amount will have accumulated to the 1,000 bob that you refused to give me. So the small amount that this guy is in betting might come to accumulate to be a bigger figure that he is not even aware. So the finance expert gets to advise. Start by creating a detailed budget. From the next month, record every single shilling you spend. Group your expenses into categories such as rent, food, transport, and entertainment, and assign specific amount to each. You can use 50-30-20. That is the famous budgeting rule. That is the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, which suggests dividing your net income into three main categories. 50% for the needs. So, and the needs are things that you cannot do without. Anything that if is withdrawn, you'll die. That is a need. 50% for needs, 30% for wants. Wants are things that you can do without. You cannot die because you don't have a Wi-Fi connection in your house. You cannot die because you did not buy that shirt that is in fashion. You cannot buy because you did not buy that expensive shoe. So those are the ones. These are things that comes along or comes in handy when making life more beautiful. So if you don't have them, you won't die. But if you have them, you will live a more comfortable life. So those are the ones. And 20% should go to savings, investment, and debt repayment. So the 20% should be directed towards savings. Of course, savings is the money that you put aside for some future purposes. It is that money you put aside for a rainy day. So investment is money that is put aside in an avenue that gets to earn interest. So that is the major difference between saving and investing. So savings, you are just putting money aside for future use, but investing, you put money aside for future use, but in an avenue where money gets to your money gets you to earn some interest. And it is good to mention that in the year of the Lord 2025, try as much as possible not to save money. We are in the era of information, and we have so many financial assets where you can be able to place to save your money, but you still earn interest. A very good example is the money market fund that many people believe is overrated, but it is one of the avenue where you can be able to save your funds and get to earn some interest and still have access to your money. You should discover that for a money market fund, you can access your money at any given point if you want your money. So there's no need to save money if you can earn some interest from it. No matter the small the interest, it is better than zero interest. So the expert continues to say, needs are essential expenses. Needs are essential expenses. Wants are discretionary expenses, while savings, investment, and debt repayment are dedicating to build your financial future and getting out of debt. Ideally, needs should compromise 50% of your income, which is about 17,500 in this case, but you are already over 50% limit if you factor in basic food cost. The 4,000 you sent to your mother could be considered a need depending on your family situation, but in strict budgeting terms, it is a financial obligation. If your mother allowance is considered a need, then your total needs are 8,000 of rent, 5,000 food, 2,000 utilities, 3,000 transport, 4,000 sent to the mother. That is 22,000. This contains 63% of your 35,000 income. So from this guy's budget, going by the 50-30-20 rule, this guy has already violated the rule because his needs amount to 22,000 out of 35,000. So that is 63%. So he is way above 50%, which is ideally what he should spend. Now, for food, that is basic groceries if cooked at home, let's estimate 5,000. You are currently spending 9,000 by eating out. So this guy clearly told us that he don't cook at home. He eats out 300 per day. So the expert is suggesting that if he gets to cook at home, he might be able to spend less when it comes to matters food. So the difference between 9,000, that is the amount he is currently spending now on food, and the 5,000 he is likely to spend when he eats at home, will create some space for some savings. So the expert says the difference between 9,000 food expense and our estimated basic groceries of 5,000 is 400, categorized as want. 5,000 spent on your girlfriend is a want, and so is the expense of betting or gambling. So money sent to the girlfriend are not a basic need. The financial expert says that is not a need, it is a want. So does it suggest that it is not a must? No, that is not my question. So 5,000 sent to your girlfriend is a want, and so is the expense on betting and gambling, which contributes to your financial outflow. Wants ideally should be 30% of your income, which is 10,500. Based on your current spending, your wants include 4,000, that is excess food, 5,000 sent to the girlfriend, and all betting, plus betting, that is 9,000. This significantly impact your capacity to save or repay debt. Savings, investment, and debt repayment ideally should account for 20% of your income, which is 7,000. The mobile debt starts at 8,955 and requires aggressive repayment. Focus on managing your money before you can even think about pursuing a family. So, for me, the most funny thing with this budget of this young man who has 18,000 savings and he wants to marry, one of the most interesting factor for me is a budget that has has a girlfriend allowance of 5,000 but has zero savings. Does it mean that this young man does not about think his own tomorrow? I don't expect you to send your girlfriend more money than you save. Now, the finance expert goes ahead and gives some steps that this young man can take to try and salvage his financial status or his financial position. And he has made it clear that this young man should first focus on building their financial status, even before they think, even before they think about getting married. So this man should ideally divert his mind from the concept of marrying, and first work uh, towards improving his financial status. So these are the suggestions that the expert gives. Reduce needs where possible, and needs, we have said that these are things that we cannot do without, but of course you can always reduce them. For this guy, the expert advises, food expenses appear to be the largest immediate saving opportunity. Consider cooking at home to lower the food expenses to 5,000, which would free up 4,000. The rent is 8,000, is reasonable for your income, but may need reevaluation when considering family needs. You see, in terms of needs, an area that the expert identifies this guy can be able to save, number one is on food. This guy categorically stated that he don't cook at home. He eats out, and said that he spends an average of around 300 per day. So in a month times 30, that is 9,000 to eat out. So he suggests that this guy should considering cooking at home, and this should enable him spend around 5,000 on food, therefore saving 4,000. So this 4,000 can be directed to savings. And the other area that he touches on is on the area of housing, and agrees that with the 35,000 salary, the guy is okay with the 8,000 house. But remember, the girlfriend is suggesting that once they move in, they need to move to a one bedroom that will cost around 20,000, which of course will increase the rent expenses for this guy, therefore making it not okay. Paying 12,000 for rent while earning 35,000. So the expert continues to advise on reducing wants. So stop betting completely, as it is draining your money without benefits. So I don't know why the expert is saying that the betting is not bringing this guy any benefit. But this guy told us that the money that he used to buy his sofa was from betting. So this expert is wrong somewhere. But regardless, betting is one of the bad financial habits. So if you are betting, kindly consider or do the maths. You see, we say that numbers don't try. You can do this. You can track the amount that you used to bet for maybe 3 months, and the amount you gain from the betting companies for the same 3 months, and you get to see whether you will break even. And you can share the story with us. So discuss with your girlfriend about her 5,000 month allowance. Hey, I think huyu expert anataka huyu kijana arudi soko. He really want this guy to be single again, because I'm sure the 5,000 is untouchable as far as the girlfriend is concerned. But he advises, discuss with your girlfriend about her 5,000 month allowance. If you're planning a future together, merge finances into a joint budget. He continues to say, if not living together yet, redirect this money to debt and savings. Also discuss how to tackle the child expenses. So the finance advice comes with 3 ideas as far as the girlfriend is concerned. Number one, it is on the allowance that the girlfriend is being given. That is 5,000. So they should discuss about it. And discussing about it means if they are living together, the girlfriend should bring his money to the table and they get to do a common budget for the house, because the guy mentioned that the girl works at M-Pesa. Ni yule wa kuuliza unatoa ama unaweka, unatoa ngapi, kona ID. So she should bring the money so that they get to budget together. Of course, najua hiyo itakuwa ngumu. Number 2, if they are not living together, these are not my words, but the words of a personal finance expert. If they are not living together, if not living together yet, redirect money to debt and savings. So it means that if they are not living together, this guy should stop giving this girlfriend allowance as soon as yesterday. Instead, he should direct this money to paying debt and saving. He told us that he has a mobile loan of 8,955. So if he agrees to stop this girlfriend allowance thing, in 2 months' time, he will be out of debt. But we leave that to him, whether he will follow his heart or he will follow his brain. So the expert also advises prioritize savings, debt repayment, and investment. So allocate the freed up funds towards towards settling your mobile debt. Repay the highest interest debt within 1 or 2 months. Then commit 20%, that is 7,000 of your income, along with any additional savings, to savings and investment initiative. Let me comment something on the point that has been given by the expert. The expert have said, repay this high interest debt within 1 or 2 months. So repay this high debt, and we are told that it is a mobile debt. One of the things that you will not realize with mobile debts is that they are high interest debts. And that is why if you come across majority of the adverts on the mobile loans on social media, they will always state their debts at their interest rates, maybe in terms of a daily rate, in terms of a monthly rate, so that you don't get to be hit by the reality of the annualized interest rate that you'll have to pay for. They will come with stories of telling you 2% per month. You'll not take time to think that that is 24% per annum. But just take your time and think of the interests that are charged by these mobile loans. You get to understand that they are ridiculous. It is just that you don't get time to think about it and get to understand how much you are charged in terms of interest. So, number 4 advice by the personal finance expert: build an emergency fund. Save at least 6 months of essential living expenses, that is around 180,000, as a safety net. Unfortunately, this guy is missing a zero, because he told us he has 18,000 in savings, but the expert advises that his emergency fund should have around 180,000, but he has 18,000. Unfortunately, he is missing one zero. So the reason as to why it is advocated that you should have around 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, it is because 6 months is considered to be a long time for you to have found something else to do in case of an emergency. In case you are called by employer tonight and they tell you, do not show up at my company tomorrow, you'll not be stressed about the food that you eat tomorrow. At least you will have some shock absorbers for some 3 to 6 months, and by then you are supposed you have high chances are there that you will have figured out how to move on from there. So the expert also advises establish separate account, maintain an operating main bank account for salary and daily expenses, and separate account, preferably one that is less accessible for impulse spending, for your emergency fund and future financial goals. It is always advocated to have some several banks account. Let it not be that you can access all your money by a click of a button, that anytime you are walking on the street and you think of buying something, you can be able to buy it instantly, simply because your money is readily available. You can have a different account where you get to place some of the funds that maybe you are not planning to use in the near future, especially if you have a challenge with impulse buying. So impulse buying is that person who buys for things that they did not plan for. So impulse buying is that person who goes out to get a packet of milk in the morning, and they end up coming back carrying a bag of clothes. They went out to buy milk, but they came back with a bag full of clothes. That is impulse buying. So if you are being affected by impulse buying, one of the things you can do is to ensure that your money is not always accessible. Try to have some funds that you cannot access even by mobile banking. You have to take the hassle of going all the way to a bank to access that account. So the other advice that this young man is given, moving out. Remember that the girlfriend was suggesting that they need to move out to a one bedroom that will cost them around 12,000. But the advices again is that don't move out. And he says, avoid moving out to an apartment until you have done all the above. You see, before moving out, there are a lot of things that this guy needs to put in order. So number one is reducing expenses on needs, reducing expenses on wants, prioritizing savings and debt repayment. Then building an emergency fund, having separate accounts. Then after that, he has the permission to move out. But before that, avoid moving out to an apartment until you have done all the above. If you must move, consider areas with one bedroom apartments with rent of around 9,000. The dream of this girl, of this girlfriend, is having a one bedroom for their home. So the advice is that don't move out, but if you move, go for an area that you will be able to find a cheaper one bedroom, maybe at around a figure of 9,000. So the rent will just increase from 8,000 to 9,000. But here's again is the 12,000 house. Alternatively, start with a larger bed sitter or an affordable one bedroom within your current budget. So the expert is more inclined towards this guy maintaining the current rent that he is paying, because definitely increasing the rent while he has not sorted other things in his financial status, he will only end up moving his financial situation from bad to worse. So, G. Okay, the other advice, increase your income. Sometimes in personal finances, it is not always a saving problem or investing problem. Sometimes, and it is majority of the times, it is an income problem. But this does not give anyone a license not to try to do the best with the current income they have. Because if you don't train yourself to do the best with the current income that you have, even if you are to be given more salary, you can be sure that you'll still not do much. So consistently aim for 10,000 commission. Develop skills by seeking courses or training that could lead a higher paying roles within your company or elsewhere. Consider a side hustle to utilize your skills and earn additional income outside the primary job. Now, one of the simplest ways of improving our financial status is not cutting on expenses, because for expenses, there is a limit to how much you can pay. You can reduce. For instance, if you are paying a rent of 10,000, the maximum you can reduce your rent is by 10,000 and decide to stay somewhere at a roadside and pay zero rent. So there is a limit to the amount that you can cut in terms of expenses. But the good thing is there is no limit to the amount that you can earn on the higher side. So it is good that you think of improving your skills continuously and get skills that will get you a better check. So the last part, the advice saying, home ownership and affordable housing. Owning a home is possible with careful planning and saving, but may require years of disciplined savings. Even affordable housing options often require a down payment, which require a dedicating savings plan. It is advisable to explore government initiatives and circle housing options, keeping in mind that this is a long-term goal. Now, it was clear that from the word go that this guy was in a way overthinking, or having uh, misaligned goals, because think of it, the question was about marrying, despite having 8,000 in savings. Then at some other point, the guy wanted to do what? The guy is talking about owning a home. See, when you have not set some small things in order, thinking of the major goals will only serve as a discouragement. And that is why this guy said, I would like to own a home someday, but I don't see any hope. The reason as to why this guy is not seeing any hope in owning a home, it is because he is thinking about long-term goals, before sorting even the short-term goals. Short-term goals include paying a mobile loan of 8,900, start savings, having an emergency fund. So it is good to understand that we have different financial goals. A goal can be short-term, can be medium-term, or can be long-term. So short goals include such as, for this guy, it includes having an emergency plan, that is an emergency fund, paying the mobile loan, and the housing should come so much later after he has sorted a lot. And if you are thinking about how you will get to the last stair, if you are going up a stair, and instead of trying to figure out how you should take the first step, you are thinking of how you will get to the last step, you will be so much discouraged that you might not even get to the last step. So when you think about your financial goals, ensure that you think about them in some order. Realize that they are short-term goals, they are long-term goals, and at the end there are some long-term. That is short-term, medium, and long-term. Don't think about a long-term goals when you are struggling to deal with short-term goals. That will only serve as a discouragement. So to sum this story up, and the story was, my girlfriend is demanding that I marry her, yet I have only 18,000 in savings. How do I afford a marriage? Let's say that if we think using our emotions, they say that you'll never earn enough to feel ready for marriage. So if we get to use our emotions, this guy should go ahead and marry. But if we put our brain into work, this guy has some things that he needs to sort before he gets married. So a marriage is a financial decision, and you cannot leave the financial aspect when thinking about marriage. So this guy can consider trying to better his financial status currently, before he gets into that marriage. Otherwise, that might end up being a troublesome marriage, starting from the financial struggles, because it is clear that even once he marries, his financial status will worsen, because we can already see some increase in expenses without a clear increase in income. That might end up pushing this guy more into debt. So whether to marry or not, it's their decision, but marrying is not the priority at this point of life for this young man. He has some things that he should put in place before getting married. But that's my opinion, and I don't know why I agree with the expert opinion, but I would like to hear your point of view. Maybe you are that person who strongly believes in love and believe that love does not consider money. Love cannot be limited by finances. I would also like to hear your views. So let me have your views in the comment section. Otherwise, that was what I wanted us to discuss for this evening live. Of course, we have just started. We'll have more interesting topic as far as personal finances are concerned. So here we'll get to speak about anything and everything that touches about money. Today we were talking about marriage, but of course from a finance aspect of view. So anything that touches about money, uh, that is what we'll get to discuss here. You can also give me ideas of some topics that we can discuss in these evening sessions. Otherwise, see you in the next video, and I wish you a nice time. Thank you.